Namaste. We're currently in Delhi, in India, and guess who is here? We have Steve Hubback.
Evening.
Uh, a great friend, and a great musician, and a gong maker. In fact, I read about you many, many years ago when I started my gong journey.
Okay.
And they mentioned about the sound sculptures and gongs made by you.
Yeah.
And then I happened to play one in one of these centers. Then we get to know each other. Then this was my first creation, first Steve Hubback's gong, and I still love it. One of its kind. Everybody who has played this gong so far loves it. Me as well.
Good.
So the good thing is Steve is here to help us get you more gongs, possibly. And Steve has very kindly agreed to join us in India on a request to see if we can get some gong made in India by Steve. And the good news is we have our first creation today. Beautiful creation.
Made in your house?
Yes. So in India, as you may know, every celebration, every ceremony starts with a conch. And here we have the first sound sculpture by Steve in India. It's a spinning conch.
So it's very symbolic.
Very symbolic.
Yeah. And it's, this is rather a thick bronze, which is why you get such an incredible sustain. Yeah.
So we always say music has no borders, and I think today is another proof. So if today somebody will say, where is Steve Hubback's gong made? It'll be extremely hard to say anymore, because I also know Steve travels a lot.
Yeah, I lived in a lot of different countries.
So possible that you may have a gong made by Steve in Iceland, the second gong by Steve is made in Porto, and the third gong is now could be made in Delhi in India, and the fourth one could be Rishikesh.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us, where all have you made your gongs all across the world?
Well, I began in Denmark.
Oh, you made Denmark as well.
Because I was living there during the 80s, later part of the 80s, into the 90s. Friends of mine had workshops near the harbour, and that's actually where I began. My neighbour was a Norwegian blacksmith. He was a wonderful guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually a sword maker, a Viking sword maker.
Oh, wow,
That was his actual profession. So it was very interesting. For quite a few years, he would walk over and watch me working, and just sort of just walk away. But one day, after about 3 or 4 years, he came in one night and had a look, and he said, "Now come with me." Went to his workspace. The fire was going in the forge, and it was just like walking into a magician's workshop. All of a sudden he was saying, "Well, this is what you do. You take the iron like this," and he started twisting the metal and forging it on the horn, and it was just incredible. I still remember it. It still gives me a buzz when I think about that.
Wow.
Yeah, because it took him 3 or 4 years before he showed me anything, and even though it was a different, that's blacksmithing. I was basically trying to make gongs. Stainless steel, brass, bronze, whatever. But yeah, that was a really big moment in development. It was like a next stage.
Next stage.
Yeah.
So I guess you did make what gong is. Do you have any Viking sign on your gongs or a symbol? I guess you probably made one.
Well, probably, yes, I have made a couple.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's what I recall.
Yeah, some positive symbols.
It's in bronze and it's got the similar colour.
Yeah, I did make a bronze one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I believe you do a lot of work with different symbols. So do the symbols have a lot of meaning for you?
Yes.
And you like
and the shapes too as well.
And the shapes too.
Yeah.
So tell us about that, please.
Well, as I mentioned before, all going away from the roundness, it was all to do with dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And I discovered, yes, you can make really unusual shapes that sound amazing. So yeah, I made a dragon swing quite early in the 90s. And it was towards the end of the 90s I developed what we call the illuminators, which can be 8, 10, 12, 12 art instruments. And they work also with cymbals or as gongs. But they have to be made either as a cymbal or as a gong. I find with these I can get a very huge generation of sound in a much smaller piece. So a lot of people will buy a very large gong to get that depth, but I think I can do it with much smaller gongs.
Well, I think the gong I have, the 18-inch gong, has a lot of depth.
Yeah.
And I'm in particular, I love to use small gongs, and I feel the small gongs can do same job. Sometimes I feel a better job than a big gong, because a big gong goes on a stand, and you have very few variations. Whereas when I play the gongs in my hand, I can do a lot more variations with my hand. And I think I will highly recommend everyone that they must have one handheld gong, if not more. And as you may know, I was recently doing a workshop called Gong in a Suitcase. And this indeed is probably, I think this is not in a suitcase, this is gong in your backpack. And probably this is gong in your laptop bag or something. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. I hope one day we find gong in your pocket or something.
That's actually already happened.
Oh, it's already happened? Okay.
I made a few miniatures of these.
Okay.
I just had a tiny off-cut piece of bronze, and I thought, I'm just going to see how it is to make a very small one. And I was blown away. It was like a crystal clear bell ringing. I should have bought one with me, really, to show you. But
oh, that would have been lovely.
I think about 7 or 8 centimeters. Very small.
Lovely. Well, I think we have so much to talk about, but I think I'm just going to ask one more question. How do you find different metals? So I believe you use bronze, and there are many different bronze, B4, B8, B22, then you have nickel, silver, you have brass, you have bell metal, you have, people are making the gongs in titanium, in mild steel. So tell us a little bit more of what do you want to work with?
Well, at the moment, sourcing the materials has become very difficult. A lot of people say to me, you're casting your own stuff. I said, no, I'm not casting it, because I have worked in the foundry up in Iceland where I was blacksmithing, and I was also helping when they were pouring the metals. To make a good, you just need a lot of equipment. It's very expensive.
Very expensive.
It's very unhealthy in a lot of ways. It can be very toxic. So I source very good metal that's already rolled, which is usually the B8, which is the same as what Peisty make the symbols of it. Peisty developed an alloy called the B15. I've had some of that. They did sponsor me with some in 2006.
Oh, they made it, it was for their specifications.
Yeah. Incredible. It's one of the best materials I've ever worked with. It's just got incredible sound, and you can still really forge deep bridges into it. When you get like to B20s, B22s, I find it more limited in what you can actually do. It's wonderful bell sounding, but I find with B15, 12, 10, 8, I have much more possibilities. Also, a lot of people I think they don't really work with B8 and B10 as they could. Well, this is a whole other thing. I have my own processes, and I think I can get really a lot out of the material sound-wise. Oh, but then again, I did work with stainless steel sometimes. I tend to do more of my sculptures with that. I mean, the visual sculptures and the mobiles, because it's very durable material. A lot of people are working with it for sound. It can be quite hard to work with. I actually made a gong 2.5 meters once. That was in Denmark. It was 400 meters.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that was a big one. That took a month to hammer out. Brass. A lot of people underestimate brass. Brass can actually be amazing, especially for larger gongs. Again, it depends on how you work it. I've got this sort of philosophy where I put a great deal of energy and intent into the creation. And the results I've had with larger gongs and brass have been amazing. And some small ones too. Nickel silver, I almost never see it anymore. There's very few companies now you can go and buy. 20 years ago I could go to a lot of different places and say I want just a sheet or a couple of pieces. They've all gone. So you call up a company now, they say, how many tons do you want? Yeah, and like I said, I did find one place in India, they said you have to buy a container. So I mean, it's just not possible for people like me to even contemplate, let alone store, if I had the money.
Indeed. So let's hope we are able to find some good nickel silver pieces in India. I mean, it's very hard material source for us in India, but let's hope we can find some pieces. Though I know you work very beautifully with bronze as well as brass. So let's hope that by the time your trip is, meaning your trip is complete here, that we have few different pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to try pieces with many new materials. So I believe now we have alloys with magnesium, with strontium, cadmium, and I know that we could make gongs with material which has been going for many years from ancient times.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think sometimes I feel let's go a step further and try new material.
Mm-hmm.
So is there anything something you have in mind, something which nobody has done in the past, or maybe it's a secret?
No, that's a new alloy. I've been working with aluminium recently. Well, I started to do that because of my own group, Metal Moves. I wanted to make a processional group. So the practical solution to that is to make the instruments in aluminium. It's obviously incredibly lightweight. And I've had some very good results. Not with everything. I've made string gongs, and the ones I've made have worked very good. Bells especially, and some spinning objects. I even made a horn. I even forged like a Viking horn in aluminium. And that's worked very good. So that's something I'm still working with. We're getting to know more. But I still love bronze. Bronze, it's one of the best materials. I've seen other people working with like titanium.
Titanium, yes.
I mean, actually working it with machines and the dust. I looked at the dust of it once. It was just like having a mist in the workshop, and I thought,
You're not going to
that's not going to be a healthy one.
Okay. So Steve is going to be with us in India till about, I think, 3rd of March. 21st, 22nd, we have a sound healing convention called Eternal Sound Project in Delhi. And those of you who really want to meet Steve in person probably could come to the event.
Of course, and I shall be playing a solo performance on my percussion set.
Wonderful. And let's hope we get an opportunity to jam with you.
Yeah, why not?
And if possible, we could also run a demo session of how a gong is made, if possible, so people know the. But of course, it's a process which takes 15-20 years minimum to just learn and master.
Yeah. Well, we could do something with a few minutes of hammering maybe and some discussion or talking about the philosophy behind it and the approach. Yeah, sure.
Wonderful. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for
Thank you so much.
having you here, and I look forward.
It's great. Thank you.